So I'm going to welcome all of you. And I'm Lois Silverman, if you don't know. I'm the co-chair of the Women's League Communications Committee. Now today, we of the Women's League Communications Committee welcome you to this workshop on Facebook. And many of our committee members are on this Zoom session. Now, Sean Stern-Frank from Plano, Texas, Intercontinental Region, will be facilitating the time we have together today. Now, the plan is that we're going to go through the basics of how to create an account and then how to create a group. Now, please put your questions in the chat or write it down so you don't forget. I'd forget, so I always write things down. And then you can ask your question after the conclusion of our, I say, formal, quote unquote, session. Now, we'll try to answer as many questions as possible. But please remember, if you have any questions, either ones that we didn't answer on the session or ones that you find that you have when you're creating your account and your pages, just remember you can always get one of us for help. You can email your questions to me or to Sean, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. What I plan to do is if you send the questions to me, I will forward them to Sean. Now, our email addresses will be posted later on in the session. So relax and learn with us. By the way, again, I'm recording this session. So if you have to leave early, feel free to just leave, and you know that it'll be posted to the Women's League site. Now with that, let me introduce Sean Stern-Frank from Plano, Texas. Now she's from the Intercontinental Region. She's a past president of Shea Torah in Plano and has been a Torah Fund honoree. She's also now on the Women's League Communications team, as well as the communications team of her region. So, Sean, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Lois. So I just want to start. So just like Lois says, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them after the session, or email me anytime, and I'd be happy to. If I don't know the answer, I will definitely find out an answer for you. So with that being said, I'm going to share my screen. One second. Lois, can you see my screen just to make sure?
I see your screen.
Okay. So today, as we've been talking about, I'm going to show you how to create a Facebook page and an account. So let's get started. So these are kind of the main objectives today, as I just kind of recently said, to create a Facebook account, a Facebook group. We can do some customization to your Facebook group, and how to engage your members to join Facebook. So the first step is you need to have a Facebook account. So we're going to go into Facebook. There we go. So you will need to create an account with this button. If you already have a Facebook account, after we do this, I will show you how you can go in and create a group right after that. Okay. Oops, I just my screen got okay. So you're gonna put your name. Oops. Why is my fingers on the wrong keys? Okay, here we go. Your last name, mobile number, and the password.
So you need a personal, a Facebook account to make an organizational Facebook account?
Yes. Unfortunately, we've tried several different ways going through this, and I've even talked to my Facebook from my sisterhood.
You can make a fraudulent name with a fraudulent, when I say fraudulent, a make believe, that's a better term. Make believe name, a make believe birthday, but I'm afraid you're probably going to have a real email address and a real telephone number.
Yeah, the telephone number, because it'll sometimes, if it's a new account, it will it'll send you a text to actually verify this information. Sorry, it's going, there we go. And then I'm a female, and then I'm going to sign up. So I've created a Facebook page. And actually it went in, just because I'm already in there, it already created, and it went into my actual Facebook page, but that's okay. I'm fine with that. And it's easier for me to delete and everything. But if you don't have, it'll have all different new pages. Let me go back to my PowerPoint. So what we did, we created an account. We entered. You can try to use your sisterhood name. I just don't know if it will work or not. You might have to like play with it. Enter your cell phone, your gender, sign up. Sometimes it's done this before, because sometimes it'll ask for a cell phone number to confirm it. Sometimes it won't. So I just think from trying to do this program, trying to play around with it. So I found that on some of the things. Okay, so next. So after you've created an actual Facebook account, you will be able to create a group. So let me go back. So it shows these little dots. It's kind of confusing if you don't know where to start. So I put a little dot, and we can always send out this presentation too after, so you have my graphics, because I like that. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm going to go back to Facebook. Move these pictures around so I can see. And you're going to go up here to this menu button. And you're going to go down to group and click on it. Trying to get it to. Okay. Create.
It doesn't like you.
No, it's not liking me today. Okay, here we go. Group. Create a group. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to come up with a group name. I'm going to do Mazel Tov Sisterhood. So then you're going to choose your privacy. Now I'm going to put this disclaimer out here. You can make it public or you can make it private. That's up to how your sisterhood would like to run it. Mine is, where I'm at, is private. Lois's is public. It just depends on how you guys want to do it. So you make it public, and then you're going to create it.
Sean, could you mention exactly the difference between public and private?
Right. So private, it's very hard where like you have to invite everybody in and you really can't see it if somebody were to go and look on like Mazel Tov Sisterhood. It's very hard unless they're actually a member to be able to look for it. So just there's a lot of limitations on if it's private. And so it just depends on how you want to do that. And if you have certain questions about that, you can always email me because every sisterhood is going to be different how they want to facilitate that.
Where did the graphic come from?
So this actually is, it already came on. So I'm glad you asked that. So this was already there. So you can always, so this is kind of where it's going to come into all the different customizations that you want to do. So let's go back. I just want to be, we can come right back to this, but I want to go back to my PowerPoint to make sure that we're staying on track here. And then we can go back there. So we created a group. We entered the name. Choose private. Like I said, you can make it private, but there's a lot of dependencies, and then create. I just want to do this. I make sure I don't like miss something. Oops. So basically now, once you've created it, you can personalize it, and then you'll be ready to post it. So we'll go back. So let's go back to Facebook. So right here, you could edit a picture. You could put, I'm going to put my dogs up there, okay? But it can be any, or even, here's my mom, and you can change the picture. You could have a picture of a program or whatever, a picture of menorah. That's up to you, but it's just that little to change anything you want and make the pictures. And that's where you can update your picture. So I'm going to show you where you can post. So down here, you'll create a post. These are different things that you can do. So let's say you want to post any kind of picture. Come on. I'm just picking a picture, anything. You're just going to go to your desktop or wherever you have anything located. And it's very easy. You just upload stuff to it. You can tag people, whoever's a friends, you can do. So that's
Sean,
one.
that's where you would upload a flyer. You convert your flyer to a JPEG and upload it as a
Right.
photo.
So anything. And if you guys have a problem, like if you have a hard time creating something and adding, you can always ask me. I don't mind, call me, whatever. And then you can post it. You don't have to put, you can say, Mahjong tournament. Mahjong today at 4 o'clock. I'm just making up this stuff. And you want everybody to know. And you can create a post that way. You don't have to have graphics to do it. You can put any kind of message. And so then see how I'm putting, here's it's all in your feed. It's all here.
Sean, can anybody
Yes.
in that group post? Or do you have to be an administrator to post?
Right. So if it's public, anybody can post. But then, so if it's private, you can select actual administrators to be able to post. So it kind of just depends on how you want. Actually, also you can do, let's go back.
So Sean, if
video.
it's public and if anybody can post, I guess you or whoever is an administrator should be vigilant and just kind of monitor it such that if something inappropriate or not something that your sisterhood would want to really promote, you could delete it, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Lois hasn't, hers is public, and you haven't had any issues with it being public. Am I
had
correct?
in the number of years we've had it, I think I had it once, and I went in and I deleted that video. I'm sorry, deleted that posting, so no one could see it. It was up for, well, that would entail that if you're administrator, you have to, of a public group, you have to be on your toes. You have to go in and you have to look at it more than, once every month.
You can go in and all this stuff on the side, you can change all the settings, different things that you want to do.
Now, to go back to that question before, you could make it a moderated group, meaning anybody who posts, even if it's a public group, anybody who posts has to have the permission of the owner. Okay, anybody, I mean, it's just like if you were going to make a Google group, for instance, which is another thing altogether. Anything it's moderation. You can moderate it.
And then if you ever you can always go up to your home button. That goes into, and then you can go back and it'll have all your pages. Should have all your pages. It's not liking me today. And I think we were doing that. It takes a little bit for it to like sync up. Here we go, pages. Here we go. Here we go. Just in case it hasn't, it'll eventually go into your, it just is, it takes a while for it to, but it should tag onto your names in your groups. So there's also more things. Let's go back to my PowerPoint. So you can also start a Facebook campaign to kind of get people engaged and wanting to come to your Facebook page. So here's just a few 25 days of inspiring quotes, Shabbat greetings, Women's League links with, information without the links. Depends if you want to put them in there or not. Program announcements, Mazel Tov announcements, and fundraising announcements. My sisterhood does birthday every day. They announce birthdays, but that depends on if you guys would like to do that or not. But that's just and we also put congregation information. If there's something like Shalach Manot and they want us to post it, we'll do that too. So it's really however you want to create it for your sisterhood. The world's your oyster. It's just kind of, this is how you kind of get started.
Do you suggest these accounts be made under the president's information or under your Facebook moderator's information?
Either one. The only thing is that person can never probably leave. Like they'll always have, unless you give them that Facebook account. So that's the only thing. They're tied to it. That's what I've heard from.
Well, there should be a way to get rid of a group delete the group. And I have to,
Right, and then
that
redo
was a
it.
question, right? That was a question that was asked in the chat. I will get
Okay.
that, and I have the names of the participants, and I will send I'll send it to everybody. Now, that means I have to go, I will look it up, but I think there is a way. Sorry, Sean.
Okay.
I
That's
have
okay.
a question.
No, and we'll find out.
Do you want to delete the group? If you set up, a group for your sisterhood, don't you want to keep it to have the history that's out there? Or
Well, Eileen, the question was that there is an old account. Okay, an old Facebook page that is either tied to this sisterhood. All right, but it's for some reason it isn't working. It isn't functioning. Nobody's going to it, and it can't be updated. How do you delete that? How do you change it? What do you do? And that is what basically what I was talking about. I'll give you an example. International Northeast Region has two Facebook groups. One was totally dormant. One I started from scratch. The reason was, even though I had access, it wasn't named properly. It wasn't, and there was no way to change that. And it was easier to start a new group. Okay, yeah, I'm going to use the
Well, I'm sure, yeah.
example. I'm going to use the example of a dress. Okay, it's easier to make a new dress as you grow stouter than it is to put gussets into that dress when you can't let it out anymore. And that's what happened.
but what happens to your followers?
Where you wouldn't do it if it were if you had a lot of followers, right? Right? If you had a lot of
I was
followers,
glad she got invited. I think it's really cool.
Where is it?
Paula?
First Presbyterian Church in Newcastle.
Hello? Paula, could you, who is, do I hear? Okay, what was, Eileen, you mentioned, please repeat.
Okay, my question is, if you have a Facebook group for your sisterhood and you have followers, and if something goes defunct in that group, I don't think you want to delete it, because how would you transfer your followers to a new group? You'd have to re-invite them all.
You invite them
Well,
all.
it'll, yeah,
Go
because
ahead,
it'll
Sean.
tell you who all your friends are. Like, you could go to your friends
And my
list and write them all
question
down.
is
Yeah,
that
and add them.
you probably would be able or want to update it. Update if you have that many followers. If you don't have a page, or it is has no following or no action for years, months,
Then get rid of it.
then you get rid of it. But if you have people who are there and you have every once in a while you see some activity, then of course you could keep it. This is to say you don't have to. This is not a session where you have to start a new page. Okay, it just showed you how, and by showing you how, you also saw how to update it.
This is Lori B. Davis. My question,
Hi, Lori.
Hi, was more, if you have a Facebook page that's, say, under that I started today, but a year from today, somebody else is going to be in charge of the Facebook page. How do you change who's in charge and what phone number it's under?
So that's what we have to figure out, because that, like, for my sisterhood, that person can never go, like, it can't go away. So that's the only.
what would happen is if it's a very, very good question.
It is,
Um,
yeah.
Unless that person is an administrative assistant of some sort.
I was
Or-
given administrative privileges on mine that was created by someone else,
Mhm,
as well as
exactly.
our media person.
Mhm.
But the original
Right.
person still has privileges.
Right. So that original person can't ever go away. That's the that's the
Well,
problem with
no,
all of these.
because I now have privileges, so I could give it to someone else.
Mhm.
Right, because you can add
But
delegates.
I don't know
to-
how.
You don't have
Okay.
to, Jeanette. Somebody else will be there. My thing is, if you don't know how, don't be afraid to ask, kind of situation.
Yeah, no, I don't need to because I have a media person and the old.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
And we can
And-
find that out. We can find that out. Had like the delegate, and we can send an email out
Right,
to the
yeah.
participant. Yeah.
That's one of the things we have to always learn, that if you don't know what to do, don't be afraid to ask for help. Nobody is a total maven on any of these things.
Does Facebook have a help option the way other products do? I'm looking for a question mark or something to click on.
No, I usually Google everything.
So you have to
Tell you.
Google it. It's not like there's nothing here, because I'm looking at the top and the buttons here. There's nothing that says,
Well,
oh,
help and support.
Oh,
Yeah, but that support, there's no one-on-one support like you would have on Constant
so
Contact.
it's a database. So
Right.
it's just a database of stuff. Okay.
Here's an interesting question. What could your sisterhood have its own Facebook account to create a group, or does it have to be set up through someone else's individual account? Now, thinking about it, if you have the permission of the temple, the congregation, synagogue, to use its telephone number,
Yeah.
okay?
Just don't
And
use
maybe-
your birthday or your
and
email, or it's
then
going to link it.
use your birthday, and letting them know that if anything comes through, that you or whoever is delegated to receive information should receive that information, then that might be a workaround.
Or can you change that? Like, Sean, can you go into edit your profile to see if you can change your contact information, including your telephone number?
Yeah, you can. I don't know exactly where that is, but you can.
Switch account here under settings and privacy. I wonder if under settings and privacy, there's an
This
option.
is my
there.
actual Facebook, but
If you went into settings and privacy, there was an option when you went to the 9 dots.
oh, here.
You go to the 9 dots. There was a thing. It says
Sounds like a
settings-
modular car.
You gonna look? No. Go to the triangle on the right. That's it.
Yeah, this is where all the
There's somewhere it was.
privacy.
Okay.
Settings and privacy.
So if you go to settings and privacy, I wonder if there's an option there to change it.
Not the. It won't change the settings.
Your username. It says you can edit your username. You can edit your
Yeah,
contact.
but that has nothing to do with the group. That's your individual
Oh,
account.
that's your individual,
Mhm.
not the group you
To
created.
change that, go.
Because
go
to
ba-
tell you the truth, when I started doing this for this training, I did like Star Sisterhood, but I put my birthday and it didn't even say Star Sisterhood. It said Sean Frank on it.
Yeah, go to the thing
that's
where
what-
it says, decide what happens to your account after you pass away. Because that's the same way as if you're changing your job roles. Choose someone else to look after your,
So choose a friend.
yeah. So maybe that's how you would transition ownership, as you change your sisterhood administration and job responsibilities.
No, but that's only going to change your own account.
That's
Your
your
own
own
account.
not
Now,
the
if
group.
you could figure out how to do it with your name,
What I think the best idea was the one that was suggested by Edith. Was it Edith who asked that question?
Because wait, watch this.
Hold on, I got it here. Shira? No. Yeah, Shira asked about that, and I think that is a great idea. Make up a sisterhood person, make the sisterhood a person, use the synagogue's whatever.
Use the synagogue information as the credentials.
Yeah, like the synagogue might have an info at
Yeah, I think yeah, as long as maybe you put,
so on, as long as you, and then give it a birth date
you could create a Facebook
and
email
create a
address.
Facebook page and then do it. And then
And Yahoo address.
Then using Eileen's idea of going into the settings and memorializing, right? Who's going to take care of this account after you're gone? I don't know. Wait a minute. You wouldn't even need that, would you?
No, because you could just give the person the user ID and password.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
Because it would be generic.
Right.
That's all you would have to have.
Okay.
But if I were, I would create a Facebook email address to use for Facebook, whatever, or a Gmail or whatever you want to use.
Gmail or Yahoo, yeah, whatever.
Right, it doesn't matter. Password, I would make up some like 1945 birth date or something, like the inception, just so maybe the inception of like the sisterhood or your synagogue, and you could say it's male if it doesn't matter, and then sign up, and hopefully that would probably work.
You create a virtual person for your synagogue or your sisterhood, set up an account and an email address for them, and use that going forward.
Yeah, and then create from there like a group.
Okay, so the situation here is,
I just know it asked me for a phone number that it could text me to for confirmation. That's the only, once you get all that.
It could be also the temple phone number, as long as you get permission from the temple or a congregation or synagogue or whatever.
Right, but I don't think it'd be able to text you there.
Excuse me, I don't think that that's really going to work, because if you can't get the text message, if you need to verify something,
that's what
you really need
to say.
If you're going to link it to a phone number, it's a phone number that you have access to if they text.
All right, but I think that if you set up the account, then you can change the telephone later on, correct, Sean?
I think so. I mean, hopefully, yeah, you could go in there.
I would assume so.
I just don't want like whatever phone number you put in there, and then it's like, let's say I put my phone, you go to the links to get the email address, and then you put your phone number, and it still shows up as Sean, as me. But
all right, but at least we're getting a workaround here.
Yeah, and I understand why people would want that. I totally get that.
Here's a question: what happens if you don't have a cell phone?
I don't know what it said. Like if there was another option when I did that, maybe there might be another.
There might be an option that says use your email instead. Thank you, Shira. We have people who are much more savvy than basic knowledge. That's wonderful. So you can use an email address.
It actually says that right here. Mobile
Thank you,
number
Ella.
or email. Yeah.
Thanks, Ella.
Okay. Lois.
Appreciate it. This is we learn from each other. This is wonderful.
So hopefully it'll go to the email. You can confirm from the email.
Right.
I might have put my phone number in there, and that's what it made me do. But
it said right there. It does say it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It does say that.
I'm looking but not seeing. Okay, 2 people have raised their hands. Let's see who raised their hands. Just one of you call out because I can't see at the moment.
Anise and Sandy. Anise.
Thank you.
I already said what I had to say, so thank you. I'm going to take my hand down.
Oh, Anise, thank you so much. Sandy?
I was just going to offer that when I set up a Zoom account, I wanted it away from my personal account. And I found that a lot of the providers did ask for mobile phone, but Gmail didn't. I could just go with an email,
Okay.
and a password account, which, I made up. And so that's why, I went with a Gmail account, which was different from the personal account I had. So, I know that was one of the things, like, AOL and some of these others. So, I didn't need to use a phone number for a Gmail account. So that might be just something that might help some others.
That's great.
Really good. Really
Thank you for
good.
that. So is there any other questions? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, that is exactly what I was going to ask. Anybody and everybody, if you want to ask your questions, because now is the time.
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay. What if you want to, let's say, link together different groups or like different Facebook accounts? For example, can you do that? For example, let's say different sisterhoods in a region want to be notified of events that are coming up within other synagogues in the region. Is there, or they,
You'd have to post it. You just have to post, say, so-and-so sisterhood. You'd have to post it so that other person would know.
You'd have to repost it to the other sisterhood's Facebook page.
Or could you tag, would tagging work?
Oh yeah, you could tag someone. So like, that's true too. If you, that person, that other sister would have to be like the administrator's friend.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, let me just log into mine. So let's say you're gonna, here's the post or whatever, and you're or whatever. Okay. So this little person right here.
You need to share. Are you sharing?
Oh, I should. Yeah, I'm sharing.
Oh, why am I not seeing? Oh, you are seeing view up. Why am I not seeing your content? I'm seeing you, not the content. Maybe it's me.
Lois, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so at least.
Then it's me. Okay.
Yeah. So let me go back. So you're going to create a post just like normal, and let's say, I'm Anshe Torah. I'm on this for this purpose. I'm Anshe Torah, and I want to put it on Share Israel's Dallas. Copy them and have both tagged on both pages. You can do a tag. Pick. You would have to be a member of Share Israel's Sisterhood. You tag them, and it's going to say is with that other sisterhood. So you could say Anshe is with. Share. It would say it up here, and whoever is in Shereth is going to be a part of that whole group. So all of Michael Frank's, that's my husband, all of Michael Frank's friends will see my post and they can comment or however you have it set up. But yeah, so that's a good, I didn't think about it as tagging it, but yeah, you can do it like that.
There was a question.
That's a great one.
That's provided, Sean, that the other sisterhood has their settings set that you can tag them.
Right.
When you initially set up an account and you go into settings, you have to go down every single one of those choices and set it the way you want it.
Right.
There's a question here. Could you show how to post to the region website, or I'm sorry, Google, I'll get it right. Facebook page from your personal page. Okay. In other words, just show how anybody can go into that page and post. Basic
well, it'd be in the
important.
Same. Yeah, so
important.
It'll be in the same, if everybody has access and it's public, it's going to be where you can post. It's going to be at the top of the feed of where all your stuff, and it's going to be right here.
Well, why don't you
create.
go to that group, go to that group. Go to the group that you're going to, no, to the left where it says groups. All right, let me go take the screen, okay?
So here, so here it is. I'm going into it.
Let me share my screen in 1 minute. Oh, good, perfect. Okay, great, thank you.
No problem. I just had to get there. And so,
of course.
That's okay. So it's right here. So you're just going to create it. It's always, whenever you're going to post something, that little box is going to be at the top of the feed, at the very top. So if they have privileges to post, they can post right here.
And it's exactly the
See
same.
how it's at the top?
Right. It's exactly the same to post to a group as it is to a personal account.
Right.
The same options. That's if it's a pub. In other words, if you belong to that group, if it's a private group, if not, if it's a public group, it's still the same posting privileges. Okay. If it's a private group, you have to be a member of that group in order to post at all. If it's a public group, you can post anyway. Everybody can post. Now, again, I'm sorry to take over. I'm going to repeat to people. You have to populate. In other words, you have to populate your group. You have to post occasionally. Okay. If you let it go dormant, you can't expect people to be enthusiastic about it. You have to build enthusiasm. The same way we would try to build enthusiasm for our Google groups that Women's League has or our sisterhoods have. You have to build enthusiasm. Posting something. And don't be afraid to post something that's a little humorous. Like that thing that Sean posted about the picture of Cinderella. Okay. That picture of Cinderella might not, it might not be totally, but it's something to get traffic.
Yeah, everybody's not going to like everything.
No, please be aware. Abraham Lincoln said you can't please all the people all the time. So, let's see, we had another question here. If you set up an account as a sisterhood, do you have to set a group inside it?
Yes.
Okay. Is everybody clear on that? The question was, if you set up an account, you have to have a group in order for your members of that sisterhood affiliate to post on it. Question here was, what's the grow group option under administrative tools?
I can see.
In other words, it's an advertisement.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to.
I don't think so. How do you grow a group? If it's a sisterhood, then you grow a group by asking to put a blurb in your congregational newsletter. If you are a region, you ask to have it put into your constant contact publication.
Yeah, because you don't want it to suggest friends, like, on your regular. That's another reason for a group.
No. And the other thing is, if it's a group, you have to set it, you'll set it up when you set up a group, that in order for somebody to become a member, they have to be approved by the group owner, and that also prevents problems. So if you wanted to put it online on your region website, you can do it there too.
So once you get your actual group, I would just go and get familiar with like the tools, and we can always go through it together.
And that's what I would suggest. If there are questions that, and we all have questions, you can see here that we are still questioning, then please get a hold of us. Let's put on the screen our email addresses. What I'd like to mention also is I am a firm believer when it comes to computer usage. You only learn what you need at that moment. Okay? Otherwise, you're going to be so bogged down that you're never going to feel comfortable using what you need to use. You have
I think
to
we have one more question though after you're done.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. It says
Sean
put
no,
her.
Sandy has a question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sandy.
I just don't want to get to the end of the time and not.
Sandy, you have your hand up.
No, I don't. I thought I'd removed it. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's
No
okay.
problem.
Here is a question here. Right. Okay. If you have any other questions, Sean, could we put that?
Lois, you mentioned
Mona,
about sharing.
Mona.
I'm sorry.
No, you're on. Please.
You mentioned about sharing the contact information or something, other one's email addresses. I imagine you did as well. But I got an Excel spreadsheet earlier that's supposed to have, it has all the participants' names, emails.
Right. Okay.
So we could share that. So we don't have to share.
We'll share it. We'll share the PowerPoint presentation.
Right.
Sean, is there a way that we can put on the screen your email and my email address?
I put mine in the chat.
Okay, well, everybody look in the chat. You're going to see there someplace Sean's email address.
Let me see, I can get yours.
And my email address is really simple. It's L like in Lois, Silverman like in Silverman, at WLCJ.org. You will receive this information from me, so you'll have my email address from that account.
I just put it in the chat for you.
Right. And again, as I said, don't be afraid to ask questions. Realize, again, as I said, even the so-called people who are here teaching you are here also to learn. And it's always been a work in progress. Any other questions, comments? Jeanette, is that a hand? Just unmute yourself.
I was looking to raise my hand. I think what you said earlier is so important. Just as we did through Women's League, when they kept telling us, like the page, like the page, like the page, you just have to get that word out to your membership over and over and over again to please like the page. But then you have to keep posting things on it.
Definitely. You know, there was a thing I constantly post. It was said by George Bernard Shaw that the problem with communications is the idea that we think it's happening. Okay, it doesn't always happen, even though we think it's happening. So please.
One of the ways to get people to like the page is when you're having sisterhood meetings, tell people to take out their phones, because most people have their Facebook app right then and there. Take it out and
Wonderful,
right then and there.
wonderful.
That's what we did. Remember when the Women's League website first came up at meetings, we would have people take out their phones and do the app, download the app.
Fantastic.
But that's a great way when you're having meetings and people are starting to have in-person meetings, so people can help them.
And please don't forget, post, populate. Don't be afraid to post things. Post links. Links are easy. Just cut and paste and throw it into your square where you post, in the message text where it says text. Put it in if it's an interesting article. Hold on a minute. The question is, how to invite women you know on Facebook to like the account? Go to your Facebook account, do a personal message to your friends and say, like this account, and put the address for the account. That's all. That's as easy as can be. And the question is, what should be never posted to a Facebook account or any other social media? Anything personal. Okay? Unless it's a private post, don't post anything like Zoom links that you've gotten from registrations. Thank you, Eileen, for the reminder.
I put that little disclaimer in my presentation.
Right. And the other thing is, do not post pictures of people on your group page unless you have permission from those people. Yeah. That if you do, they have a right to tell you to take that off. Okay. So please remember. Beth, you have a question. Beth, unmute yourself and ask your question, make your comment. I got a suggestion here that we should have a session just for Facebook page chairs. You got it. We'll get it. You asked. You remember that show? You asked for it. Mm-hmm. You got it. When
I'm happy to continue.
Yeah, right. To be continued. Beth, where are you? Beth had her hand up.
I'm sorry. I lowered my hand. I don't know how that did that. So sorry.
See, I have no problem with it.
But thank you very much, Sean. Very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you.
So you stay tuned, people. We'll go out. We will do this. I do have the region people, the people on the their communication staff. If there are any specific Facebook people, regions or sisterhood, let me know and I will make sure I have that list. I will send out invites as best I can. Anything else that we can mention here? Let's see.
I just thought of something after I was doing this, that it's also to get people involved, to have another member, like a Facebook person, just to have on your board, or to get someone that you might want to get involved to do this as well. So.
Okay. Anything else? We did it. Stay tuned and please understand, we are all in this together. Have a good one.
Ready for Facebook 2.0.
Yeah, wait for it. We'll have it. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great spring. And if we don't meet again before Passover, have a good and happy, fresh and wonderful Passover.